Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Job Fair series brought to you by Deborah Rise Movement and CPF. I will be putting up the link to our website in the chat window. Please look out for the chats that I'll put up. And also I'd make a request. All those of you who are serious, who are looking for jobs, please do put in your name in the chat box, and we have Jerry who will be noting it down. So please, I'd request you all to put in your names in the chat box. So now the last 2 years have seen many of us lose jobs or struggle with new ones while compromising on salaries, working hours, and a lot of other problems. Most of us must have prayed earnestly while creating our LinkedIn profiles. Personally, I faced a lot of difficulty navigating through the various tabs, profiles, and filters on LinkedIn. But now DRM, along with CPF, has started a series of training for job searches. And today we have with us Mr. Prashanth Mohandas, who will show us how LinkedIn can be used as a powerful tool in the job seeking process. Mr. Prashanth is a dynamic sales leader for the past 11 years and has a multi-domain experience in developing business plans and executing sales strategy to build high profile and high profit organizations. Without further delay, let us invite Mr. Prashanth to take us through this enriching learning experience. Over to you, Mr. Prashanth.
Thank you so much, Dalia, for a very wonderful introduction about me, and it was great. And thank you so much, Dr. Lata, for arranging this wonderful session on a Saturday evening. Again, this is phenomenal. In fact, on a very busy Saturday evening, again, everyone wants to spend their own time with family and everything. So we all, as a family, we are all here to learn something new. And I take this moment to all to give a brief introduction about me. Right. So those who are comfortable, I think you can actually turn on your camera so that we are all seeing ourselves virtually. So it'll be great to have a kind of introductory session so you understand what I'm speaking about, right? So those who are comfortable, you can actually turn on your cameras. So that'll be great. So a brief introduction about me, like Dalia said, yes, I've come from a very dynamic environment into sales background. I'll share everyone about my LinkedIn profile as well. So I come from a conglomerate experience, and I come from a lot of MNC background, and I've been working with a lot of huge giants. Prior to this, I was working as a director for a huge MNC. I'm sure everyone might have known about it as Baiju's. And I've served about close to a lot of countries, and I've served to a lot of nations on terms of business development, marketing, sales. And my phenomenal is completely about sales and how to generate business, and basically how to market yourself. And it all comes into the matter of fact, like Dalia mentioned, right? So in the pandemic, I'm sure like pretty much a lot of us have, faced a problem of losing jobs and not finding the right job, in fact. And certain times, even if you're at the right job, what happens is that you don't get your salary perk, and a lot of companies were shut down, and a lot of things. That was really a very, very, a mind-boggling situation for a lot of people. So but then I was also a part of that environment where even I had lost my job, and that experience was very, very mind-boggling. In fact, 30% of your salary you get only, and it's very hard to even drive your family and things like that. So that comes there is the great light of empowerment, that is something called as LinkedIn. So which is LinkedIn is a very, very powerful tool, which I realized later. Again, one of my mentor who is currently working with Microsoft. Yeah. So I think you can actually mute everyone except me, so that just in case if I have an FAQ, then would that be okay if I can ask people to unmute and speak, just in case?
Yes, I think everyone is muted.
Okay, all right, cool. So like I said, so LinkedIn is a very, very amazing platform because now people need to understand how you can get jobs. So there's always a myth, like you've been thinking about, you've heard people working in Microsoft and Google, Amazon, and big, huge companies. But there's always this catch of like to understand how did people enter there? What is that very peculiar thing what I don't have, and the rest of the people possess to literally carry over their jobs in Microsoft and the other interviews. So what's that very nice thing about them? And if I had to say that, there has always been a traditional method, right? So we have always been applying jobs through, let's say, earlier, we used to, let's say, collect email IDs of HRs and send them an email, and then probably try to check on Naukri, try to check on Indeed and Shine and Monster and whatnot. There are so many other platforms. But very lately, all these platforms actually got outdated. I would rarely say all these platforms got outdated. Rather, I would say the response rate is pretty minimum. And if you had applied for a job through Naukri, I'm sure that the kind of average response rate is pretty low than what you really interact on LinkedIn. See, LinkedIn is again a very dynamic platform. It's a AI based platform where predominantly most of the conglomerates, or predominantly most of the, let's say, the top large enterprise companies, the mid enterprise companies, or the enterprise customers, right? The companies, they come and they post their jobs. And it's a community for all corporate people. And it's also a community for students, for a lot of people, for you in order to develop your profile and to give a lot of other value-added inputs and to do business. And it's a lot of, you can use the play. It's like a playground. You can just use this platform like how you need, and it's all about how you customize and what you need out of this platform. So today, I would like to give you a very brief understanding about what you should be doing again before even we go into LinkedIn. What are the key steps that we need to do before going into LinkedIn? So I'm sure everyone has a curriculum vitae for yourself. The curriculum vitae is a very important document that everyone should have in order to apply for a job. And this curriculum vitae is again, it's very important that you don't have to have 3-4 pages, because imagine that if you're being the HR, imagine that you're the hiring manager of a company, and you get every day you get about thousands of CVs in your desk and thousands of, let's say, resumes in your emails and in mails. So you cannot just go ahead and read everything. You don't have the time and the comfortable time that you can go ahead and read everything. So there has to be some catch. So when I see something, there has to be some catch in what I'm actually going to, or who I'm going to pick up from those 100 candidates, or let's say 200 candidates. Or if you're applying for Microsoft, I guess 2 million people apply for Microsoft every year. So how are you going to be a one among the 2 million people? So there are a few things which you need to know very basically. So your CV, however experienced, let's say 15 years, 16 years, 17 years, your CV has to be, let's say, 1 page and maximum 2 pages. So 2 pages with a little details, with a little information about like what you do and what you were doing. And let's say if you have worked for like 5 companies, and let's say 3 points about each company is more than enough for you to actually explain about yourself. So sometimes I've seen CVs, let's say, a CV which is about like 4 or 5 pages, where they have explained about, let's say, 5 to 6 points in the CV. I've done that, I've done this, and like, X, Y, Z, and all this stuff. So it really doesn't happen that, when you plan, when you actually put in a lot of things on the CV, so people really don't go and look it up. So rather, just 4 points per company. And let's say if you work for 5 different companies, 20 points, prepare that 4 points. So what are the things, if you really want to make it out of, what are the 4 points that you need to actually put on your CV, right? So that's again a kind of a catch. So first, objectives. So tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell a little bit about yourself, and after you speak a little bit about yourself, then go ahead and with an objective. And with an objective, what are you looking for? And then about your experience. And after your experience, you can just go ahead and put what all you have actually planned, or what all have you actually did in your past experience. Let's say it should have some stats. For example, if you're a dynamic sales leader, a sales leader is always judged by numbers and statistics. How much numbers have you sold, and how many customers have you taken? What's your ARPU? What's your, let's say, monthly average, the business that you have closed, and things like that. So if you're an operations manager, what are the kind of different platforms that you have actually managed? And what are the number of team size that you have done? And what is your greatest achievement? and all these very important catch points that you need to be able to put in your CV. And especially nowadays, people look for, especially HRs, they look for people who has hands-on experience on different softwares, right? So if you are working in a corporate, let's say Salesforce, I'm sure everyone would have had this experience of working in Salesforce. Salesforce being the truth of a company, and whatever matters, like people only believe in Salesforce. So Salesforce, have you had worked in Salesforce? And what are the different softwares that you've used? Let's say Outreach, or let's say different softwares like SendGrid and things like that. So what are the different softwares that you've used? And what are the operational softwares that you've used? And let's say when it comes to if you're a marketing person, what have you done in terms of marketing? So all these things related to what are the latest, you have to research very, very thoroughly in the market. What are the latest technology solutions, or let's say, what are the latest platforms that are available in your domain? So from there, you should be able to pick a few, understand that, and put it in your CV. That's the catch where HRs also come and look into profile. And the second thing is that most of us make a mistake, right? So when we go into a CV, I'll probably share my screen and show you how a CV should look. So probably what we do is like we put our names, and then we put our email ID, we put our phone number, and and at the bottom of the page again, what we do is like we again put personal dossier, personal information, my information. Let's say what you do, my name, my father's name, and are you married or unmarried? Or I've seen CVs like people putting in, let's say, I'm what kind of religion. So all these things doesn't matter right now. So most of the companies don't even think about that. So they don't even want to know your ethnicity. They don't even want to know about your sex, right? So they don't even want to know about are you kind of like say you're Asian, or the kind of, because everything comes in a very, very personal information. They give you a personal dossier when you get selected to a company. That's when they give you a particular format. You'll have to fill the format and send it to the HR. So you don't have to actually put it on your profile and send it. All right. So that's one catch that I want to let everyone know. And second thing, like I said, so like everyone knows that okay, let's kind of like have an interactive session right now, just for my understanding, right? So I'd like a few volunteers. Probably you can just raise your hands, so that I can ask a few questions and we can demonstrate a few platforms and make the session very interactive. Can I have a few volunteers here? You can just raise your hands, or you can put up your hand. Yeah, I think
Participants, you can raise your hand. I don't think anyone.
thumbs up, or you can just give me a thumbs up, or I don't know, raise your hand. I don't think the option is available over here. You can just give me a thumbs up, maybe. Someone who wants to, I'm just going to show you a demonstration of a particular platform. Anyone here?
Prashanth, are you showing the screen? We are not able to see your screen.
No, Dr. Lata, I'm not showing my screen. I just want a participant. I want a volunteer who can actually
Okay,
come
okay.
up. Yeah. Okay. All
I
right.
can
So,
go. I'll go.
okay, great. Great. All right, so let's do one thing, Dalia. So I just want to understand, have you heard about anything about score of a, your particular CV?
No.
Okay, I'll show something very interesting to everyone. Let me just quickly share my screen to you. Let me know if you can see my screen.
Yeah, we can see your screen.
Okay. So I'm just copy pasting this particular link. I'm so sorry, this is not acceptable. Okay. Dalia, can you actually share your screens? Let me just stop sharing my screen. Can you? I just put this on your chat. Can you share your screen? In the meantime, I wanted to tell you guys, everyone, folks over here. So resumeworded.com. I'm just going to put it on the chat over here in the chat box to everyone. So yes, you got it over here. I'm sure everyone can see this, right? Okay. So this is a particular platform where I'll share it on the chat box over here, so that you can just try it out. Okay. So this is a platform where before even you create a LinkedIn profile, or before even you share your CV to someone, let's say a HR recruiter or any top leadership people, right? So this is a platform where you should score your CV. So always there is a score for your CV, and how does it work? Is one, your CV. If you actually try this along, like let's say in between the session or after the session, you can actually try drag and drop your CV to this particular portal, right? And you will have an option to get started for free. Sign in with your Google account, and once you sign in with your Google account, you will have to drag and drop your CV here, and it will give you a particular score. And that score is very, very important for you to actually be among the top 100 people who are being selected in LinkedIn. I'll tell you why. See, there are a lot of times that we make a lot of mistakes on a CV. The CV might be very beautiful, colorful, and let's say it can show a lot of user experience, UX effects and everything. But again, it should have the right keyword in order to attract the right job. And if you're going for, let's say, sales profile, you need to have a very, very clear sales related work experience, sales related, the KPIs and things like that. So try this platform. I want each and every one of you to take it as an activity, and try this platform and create your CV where you get maximum score of about 80. Okay, so once you have a score of 80, you mean to say that that's once you have a score of 80, that's when your profile is going to be very well matched in LinkedIn. Okay, let's say now. Okay, so Dalia, I think you can stop sharing. Thank you so much. Great. So I will quickly share my screen and show why LinkedIn is important, and how a LinkedIn profile is supposed to be, right? A typical example of how you need to create a LinkedIn profile. Well, this is my LinkedIn profile, if you see. So I basically, to give you a heads up, I'm currently working with a company called Zycus, and I'm the senior manager for business development over here. So I had the entire North American market, where I, deal businesses with enterprise customers, like more than about 10 to 50 to 60 billion US dollars, with an average run rate of about 4 million US dollars per quarter. So this is a heads up about me. And if you see, LinkedIn has been a very, very great platform for me, because it helped me to discover a lot of people, or discover a lot of network, and make a lot of connections. And it has become like a gold mine, right? So point number one, let me just tell you what is very important when you open a LinkedIn profile. So let's say if everyone has a LinkedIn profile, it's great that you need to go ahead and optimize it. So how would you optimize it? The first step is that you call this as a banner, right? So I'm sure that everyone can see this. So this is a banner where you will have to actually describe about what is your current industry. Let's say, since I'm from the procurement background, and I talk about a lot of digital transformation and things like that. So this is a small creative that I've created myself, and I've put it over here so that it's very attractive for any people who see my profile. The second thing, you need to have a very clear headshot, a headshot which is very, very clear. And these are the two things which someone actually sees, like as soon as they come into the profile, these are two things which they come and see. And thirdly, this second box over here. So this is the first one, and this is going to be the second one. So they come and see what you have done. The first thing that you'll have to do is like, what are you currently doing? That has to be a caption. And what are you experienced in? Let's say I'm experienced in IT sales, and I'm experienced in enterprise B2B communication, procurement, and what all. I talk about SaaS, I talk about P2P, and I talk about S2B softwares. And I also have a section which talks about what do I talk about. These are going to be your keywords where you will have where you will attract a lot of people, right? And that's where you will have to do a lot of things over here. And I will show you how to add these things. And definitely you need to be working on a lot of things. Let's say a creator mode. There is something called a creator mode, and I'll tell you how to do that. And you will have to also add your CV over here so that people can easily download your CV, and they can go ahead and look into it. See, I've already told in my profile, though I'm working with a company, I've already put in my feature stating that Dear recruiters, I'm open for a lucrative leadership opportunities where I can utilize my skills and abilities to the best. And you can reach me out on this alternatively on my email. So this is something that you'll have to go ahead and put. And definitely about section is very, very important. This about section is something which few people have really, let's say, they go ahead and copy paste certain things, or they go ahead in the passive voice. So now you have to be talking about section, like let's say about you. So if someone asks you, tell me about yourself, that's where this particular initiative comes in the between, right? So it literally has to say something about yourself. So it's like you telling someone about you. So what I have put here is like, I do what I've told about my business and what I'm expert in and what I've done and in my past and what I'm expert in. This is very, very important because these are the keywords. So for example, an HR is selecting your profile. Let's say they are looking for something, someone in, let's say, sales. They're looking for someone in enterprise B2B sales and strategic partnerships or lead generation, marketing penetration, all these things. All these profiles, all these are the keywords that you need to put in your profile about me. So when someone searches, your profile actually shows that amount. And also you can put your contact number and your email ID over here. And yes, so you got to go ahead and put a very, very clear and distinctive experience profile and ensure that whenever you add a company over here, this logo is very, very important. Let's say sometimes you add a company, let's say you add a position over here, and let's say you put as a director of sales, and you put as, let's say, the company name, let's say you put as Accenture. See, you get this logo. I'm sure that everyone can see. So ensure that whenever you click, you ensure that you have this logo here, so that this particular section. One moment, please. This particular section is always visible. Here, the logo is always visible, and this is about your experience. And you can go ahead and mention a little bit about what you have done, and your endorsements makes a lot of difference. And again, the most important part, once you complete all this profile and everything, right? So what I told you from the resume worded platform. So prepare your CV accordingly so that you have about 80% score, and then copy paste all these sections over here to your about. Say, for example, I work for Zycas and all these sections over here, and so much, pretty much that your LinkedIn profile is good. So what happens, let's say, I'll tell you how does a HR manager go ahead and looks into a particular profile. So let's say I go into a profile. Okay, let's say I take this profile and I want to download this profile, and I go here, and always there is something which called as more, and you see there's an option called save to PDF. So in a chart, whenever it comes, you go ahead and give it to the save to PDF format. And when you click your profile over here, this is how your save to PDF format looks like. So this is what most of the HRs actually see if they want to download your CV. So this is what they see actually. So in your CV, then again, you'll have to be putting in a lot of information about, let's say, what have you done and what are your honors and certification and things like that. So it's a matter of seconds. So LinkedIn gives you that automated CV in a matter of seconds. But again, you should be able to give all the key important information. All right. All these things are very, very, very important. I'm sure you got a clear look. So let's say if you go here, it's more, and you give it a save to PDF. This is how most of the HRs save your resume as your PDF or save your profile as a PDF, and then go ahead and share it to the hiring managers and things like that. So that's one. And the second thing is that let's jump into jobs. So what you have to be doing in jobs. So before we jump into jobs, I just want to let everyone know that, see, this particular the current scenario where we are right now, there are so many jobs available in the market. So don't worry about what jobs are really suitable for me. So always work on your strengths. So wherever you are capable of, what have you been doing, what have you already been doing, and where are you successful in? Start discovering yourself. Start putting a SWOT analysis. Start write a SWOT analysis, and try where are you capable of doing a lot of things, and just get into that particular format. And accordingly, when you go to a job search, right, so you have a lot of options here in LinkedIn where you can create a lot of job opportunities. For example, let's say I come here, I click, this is jobs. I come here to jobs, and I come here and I click search by jobs, and I click as vice, let's say next position. What I wanted to achieve is, let's say, vice president of sales, and let's say I wanted especially Bangalore, India, or I say not greater Bangalore, Bangalore, Karnataka, India, and 40 kilometers. Okay, I can show even the distance, and filter as much as you can. Filter as much as you can, and always recruiters always like to go with applications which are pretty new. So, for example, if there is a job which is posted, so if you are one among that applicant who is like from top 50, so of course that recruiter will definitely wanted to go from top 1 to 50, just like how we wanted to go in Google search, right? So we don't want to go to the 100th page and look for information. We always want to go to one page or two page maximum and get all information that we need. So always apply for a job which is like date posted, let's say past 24 hours. These are the fresh jobs available in the market. And let's say there are also options of, let's say, if you are a person who is looking out for a mid-senior level. All right, I'll tell you, mid-senior level or mid-senior levels are like bands with L5, L6, like up to L5 are mid-senior level, and the salary package will go out like 15 to 20 lakhs package for mid-senior level in MNCs. And if you're going for a director position, the current salary package will go anything about starts from 20 lakhs to 45 lakhs to 50 lakhs is the director position of a particular company. And executive, anything starts from, let's say, vice president sales and any leadership profile where you get some ESOP model and things like that. That's when an executive model. So see where do you want to actually apply. Do you want to be a director, mid-senior level, or just want to leave like that? Let's say we apply all three. We have 37 results filtered. And now again, let's come into easy apply. So this is very, very important because not many time we have, let's say if I'm not applying easy apply, right? So what I do is like, then I have a position of, let's say, director in Myntra. But again, if I'm going to apply for this director position in Myntra, and let's say I open this position and I open this particular, I say I apply, it will take me to the website where Myntra has posted. Rather, what I would do is like I go ahead and apply in easy apply, and I have this particular position where I say just say go ahead and easy apply, and since all my information is here, I've already given it. I just say next, next, and let's say since I don't have experience and here I say 0, and how, let's say 0, and I review and I go submit my application. That's it. One job is applied. So how many seconds did it take for me to apply for one job? Hardly 30 seconds, not even 30 seconds, hardly 10 seconds. So in this manner, if you're creating more and more, let's say, let me go back to the job profile. Let me do one more thing. Let's say associate director product. I will go ahead and again click one more. See, I'm sure that if you wanted to go with associate director job description and see and things like that, so it's not going to take it's a lot of time, but again, you're going to waste a lot of time by seeing the job descriptions, whether you can do it or not, because you already know that for a position of an associate director, if you had already seen, it's about to manage a lot of huge teams, and you need to be a revenue driver, and you need to have, let's say, experience is equal to ROI and things like that. So if you have that kind of a knowledge, then directly go ahead and apply. And which means, like, let's say you get an or apply for easy apply here, and I give next, I give review, I give submit my application. That's it. It took hardly for me 4 seconds or 5 seconds to apply for a job. So now if I need this alert to be set, let's say I click set alert. Okay, because I have multiple alerts, I don't have any alerts left over. So let's go back to the job style over here. So now if you see, these are the job alerts, let's say I have created, okay, right? So let's say vice president and, business development and things like that. And there are so many job opportunities available in the market. Let's say which one suits, because this platform is something which gives you, once you start applying for 10 jobs, automatically these opportunities the platform itself will start throwing opportunities to you. So these are the kind of opportunities for my capability. Let's say if you want to try something See, I got a head of inside sales, a head of sales, sales director, vice president. So these are the all easy apply and things like that. So what I would request you all to do is one, create a very effective platform on LinkedIn and use resume worded for to ensure that you have a proper score on your CV. And definitely try to reach me out. I'm anyways going to put my number on the chat here. So if you have any doubts, feel free to reach me out. And the most important thing is like create a lot of job alerts. So once you create a lot of job alerts and per day, please folks ensure that if you're applying only for 10 jobs, you will not even get one call. You should be able to apply at least for about close to 400 to 500 jobs a day. Being very practical, if I can show you how much job results I've got. For example, let's say, okay, this person has come from, let's say, a company called, let's say, Canati, and said, hey, you know what, I reviewed your application for VP marketing and I'm impressed with your background. I'd like to schedule a 30 to 45 minutes call. Great. And let's say I got a recruitment from, let's say, Walnut Coding, and they are very interested in my profile. And so many. And see, this is another company where this is a company called UX Cam, where they have said, they are interested in my profile for, let's say, so all the conversations happen through this. It's a great platform that you can interact with people, and you can make a lot of difference in your career. And what I was talking about is, again, there are few things that you need to be knowing here. All right, so here there is something called as a creator mode. So I want everyone to ensure to know this. There are creator mode. So what you're talking about, if you are, let's say, if since I'm from the procurement background, I talk about AI, e-invoicing, spend analysis, job opportunities, and procurement software, right? So you can add as many, but only up to 5. Or what are the topics that you're really interested or going to talk about? So once you add that, this particular section is going to be added over here. I'm sure everyone can see this, right? The talks about section, that's where you can get this added. And you also have to work as, let's say, open to work. So what are the job titles that you are interested to work? Let's say director of sales, senior manager, associate director, vice president, etc., etc. And what are the workplaces would you like to work? On site, hybrid, and remote? And what are the job locations that you would like to go ahead? And a great, let's say, what are the job types? Let's say full-time or contract or internship or temporary. So these are the kind of things that you can go ahead and save, so that it will not be shown, let's say, for your existing recruiter in case if you're actually working in a company, but it will be shown to a recruiter who is actually recruiting your profile. That's pretty much, the concept here. And always go to settings before you apply for any jobs, right? So account preferences, again, job seeking preferences. So when you see the job application setting over here, see, you will have an option. I'll go back and I'll show you again. So you go to your settings, and when you come, you have data and privacy. Under data and privacy, you have job setting preferences, and here you have job application settings. Come here, and you always have to put your updated CV over here. So what is that updated CV? So the CV which you have created and you have tried and tested your score with resume worded, get that CV and put it over here. Upload the recent CV and keep uploading your CV at least every month. Keep updating your CV so that your CV doesn't go redundant or your profile is not updated or things like that. So you have a very niche and things to talk about. So let's say this month you have got a certification, add it to your CV and upload it to your LinkedIn profile. That's going to be your accomplishment, right? So have only one CV, don't have more than one, because it's going to confuse you on like which one to apply and things like that. Or for example, if you're applying for 2 or 3 more different positions, for example, you're applying for, let's say, a vice president, a director, an associate director, or any other different domain. Let's say if you're applying for an automobile domain, let's say if you're applying for an HR, let's say if you're applying for a sales domain. So you can have 3 different CVs, designed accordingly, and you can upload it. and whichever job suits for whichever CV, you can go ahead and start and applying that. That can be another preferences that you can do. So pretty much, I'm sure I'd like to open the session for a quick a Q&A. So probably if anyone has any questions, so you can just let me know.
Hi, Prashanth. Can you
Hi,
hear me?
Jonah. Yes,
I'm Jennifer here.
yeah, hi.
Just wanted a clarification on the point that you said initially that on our resume, we don't need to give in our personal details about whether you're married, your date of birth and stuff. But does that actually work in India is my question, because I've heard about this in the European and in the US market abroad. But here, I think the main thing what they first look in, like when I worked, I've seen people when they get a resume, I've seen first thing they check is what is the age of the candidate, and then they just keep the resume aside. But is it now like that we don't need to give that?
All right, yeah, that's a great question. See, now what happens is like there are a few categories of companies again. So the kind of companies that you're applying is, for example, there are very old traditional companies I'm talking about. So certain MNCs or certain conglomerates, the companies who are large enterprise companies, I'm talking about people who are 1,000 to 5,000 people working in the company, they don't go ahead and ask this. But during the time of interview, they need a lot of information to ask on a personal note. So not to everyone that you have to actually mention those details. Maybe you can mention your date of birth. That is pretty much okay. But not even a date of birth is pretty important. Nobody wants to know your date of birth at the initial stage. Because if you're going through LinkedIn, LinkedIn has all the details. That once you pull your resume, it will give you what's your date of birth and things like that. If you're applying through your CV, okay, you can mention 1 or 2 points, which is like you can mention your let's say your date of birth, since you've already mentioned your name, you've already mentioned your email ID, already mentioned your phone number, and you don't have to mention anything else, like your educational experience, and then maybe your date of birth. That's pretty simple.
Okay, because I very recently had an experience because I'm a returnee from UAE, and it's been
Okay.
3 years now since I'm looking
Okay.
for a job.
Okay.
So what I got an opportunity in ICSS Securities actually in Cochin. In spite of
Okay.
seeing my resume and saying I'm a 15 plus years of experience person, so I'm 49 now. So then
Okay.
to get a job here was like they called me for the interview. I had all the rounds of interview, and all of a sudden they just come back, and the last person told me the HR would be calling you to speak about the compensation and stuff. So I said,
Mm-hmm.
okay. But then suddenly one day, after 2 days, I don't get a call, and then I get a message saying that the HR has, and my position has been rejected just because of my age, because they had a cutoff. So
Understood.
cutoff of age. So what
Understood.
I see here in most of the big MNCs is they still have age cutoffs, and even for a manager now, I just see they need people just with 6 to 7 years of experience is what they ask. So people like us
Okay.
who have like something like I am in Cochin. I'm based in Cochin. That's another one thing that I see in a place like Cochin, and where we don't have corporate offices of big MNCs. It's a big limitation to get a job. So the moment
I'll
your
tell you what
resume
happens.
goes in, yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you what happens here actually. See, it's not about the places where you can actually, let's say, there are always these tier one, tier two, tier three cities, right? Let's say cities like Bangalore, Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, Calcutta, and Hyderabad, and all these places have a number of opportunities. And the reason being like, one is that there are so many companies coming in, and the minimum salary starts from, let's say, 15 lakhs per annum for someone who's graduated out of college. And it goes all the way till about 1 CR to 2 CR for, someone who was like CTO, CFO, or VP, and those kind of positions. And I'll tell you what happened at your profile, right? So in Bangalore, I'll tell you there are some companies. For example, if you've heard about Amazon, right? Amazon has a BDM position, a business development manager. The business development manager cadre, I'll tell you the cadre hierarchy, how it works. It is an entry. BDE is an entry. BDM is the next level, and after BDM is a senior BDM, and after senior BDM is a team leader or higher up, and then it goes up to director and VP, etc. So for a BDM role, they actually hire people with about 12 to 13 years of experience. So they want, nowadays companies want people with more experience to handle individual roles to ensure that they deliver the maximum. And this is the reason why, because at certain ages, like, people hire managers at 7 years experience, 6 years experience, and the attrition rate is high. A lot of companies have actually focused this, and they hire managers at 7 years experience, and after a manager, let's say, gets about, let's say, 13, 14, 15 lakhs package, he jumps. The jumping pattern or the swapping pattern or that kind of like a pattern is very common. So people nowadays have been very intelligent now to hire only people who with more experience. And I think we can personally maybe connect, and I can help you on your LinkedIn profile to get the right job for you, and the right job with your right experience. That can be, that's something that we can do. I
Yeah,
think I
sure,
can.
sure. I'll send you a connect.
Sure.
Sure. Thank you so much.
Great. Anyone else who wants to ask me any questions?
Yeah.
Yes. Who is this? I'm sorry.
Hi, my name's Ajay.
Hi.
One thing what I've observed in LinkedIn, they ask when you apply for jobs over there, when they ask what is your current CTC, so you can only enter in digits, you can't enter your words or anything. And the same thing
Correct.
is there even with expected also. So, and I've got 14 plus years of experience, and I'm both a senior tech writer and a content manager also. So for the managerial roles, what is happening? Most of the managerial roles, they're taking interns also nowadays. I'm seeing that interns, or they're taking managers with 4, 5, or even less years of experience. So I've seen the trend. They're trying to pay less for like managers. So for my kind of role, I'm not able to get anywhere. Like, and because of this thing where I told where you can put in digits for the expected, there are many times that I'm seeing that LinkedIn has, like, I mean, the companies, they're just rejected. Like, I think by default, I think there's an option where they can click saying that reject like that. So they say like, thanks for applying, but unfortunately like that. So is the by default reply what I'm getting from all the companies?
I'll tell you how the backend works, Ajay. I'll tell you how the backend works. There is now everyone is going towards HR tech platforms. Okay, I'm sure if everyone knows this platforms like PeopleBox, Darwinbox, and Workable. These are the areas where you are all applying. Maybe the jobs where you apply. HR wanted to make their work very simple. Point number one. They wanted to have the entire stream of applications sorted in one particular, let's say, CRM kind of a stuff, where they don't want to keep typing and telling whether it's rejected or not. So they feed some information to kind of platforms like Workable, and this Workable platform automatically goes ahead and rejects you for XYZ reason. So there were many times where even I have been rejected by Workable. Then when I got in touch with the candidate HR, and the HR says that no, I'm very sorry, your profile looks amazing, we would like to schedule an interview for you. So that is one. And second thing about the pay, there is a platform called PayScale. If Ajay, if you just go through that, there is a platform called PayScale, and go through this platform because it will give you a very, very clear, distinct information about what your particular domain or what you are capable for. And for everyone over here, please don't worry about rejections, because if you're applying for 500 jobs, let's say only one job, let's say they are replying back to you, only one company replies back to you, accepted. Don't worry about rejections, because there are billions of companies in the world. Even if you're working for one company in 1 year, you can work for 65 years until your retirement. Just keep this in your mind. So know where that you're actually going to be redundant. There are so many companies in the world and so many platforms that you can explore. So rejections, I'm sure initially, if let's say you go through the final stage and then let's say the company doesn't want to go with your thing, and they, let's say they are rejecting you for some purposes, don't worry at all. Keep applying, keep applying. That's where I would say you will get more opportunities. So Ajay, I would request you to go ahead and choose this platform called PayScale, where it will give you compensation.
All right.
Compensation, and then you can choose what is the compensation as per the industry standards, right? So don't worry. I mean, there are so many companies who will not give you, let's say, if you're earning about 25 lakhs per annum, no companies will definitely want to do, they will definitely want to do bargain because that's where you wanted to market yourself. So let's say, imagine that you're getting into a company and you wanted to set your, see, inflation is again, guys, everyone, inflation is again 0.9%. Currently, we cannot drop it because of XYZ reasons. We have the oil prices, the cooking oil prices have been up, the petrol prices have been up, and all these things have been up. So comparing all these things, we need a better job. So
Correct.
down those days are the times when HR used to actually ask us, how much are you expecting? Let's say we take 10 lakhs. No, 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 we can't give 10 lakhs. 7 lakhs is okay. No. Nowadays we can demand salary. We can tell, you know what, for this kind of experience, I'm looking for a 40% hike, which is
And
almost
actually,
like
most
close
of them
to
I've rejected actually because like when they ask me how much I expect, so I tell as per the thing or their industry norms, I said. So then they think about it and then they try to negotiate for something less. Because so I thought, so what's happening in the trend? So most of the companies are paying less. I felt like, yeah.
Okay, let's do one thing. I think over the next meeting or next sessions, I will take a mock interview for most of you who actually want it. So I will give you a feel of how you actually have to attend an interview. Let's say a very, very tough interview, there are different types of interview. For example, in an interview, they make you stressed, you get sweat, you get completely drenched and you don't know what to answer. They'll make you very, very, I'd say you go very, very subtle and you don't know what to speak and things like that. Even though you have come very prepared, you go lost. So those are kind of stress interviews. So what to do in stress interviews? What are the kind of words to use in a stress interview? And how to attend interviews is something which I can probably bring one of my friend who is an expert who is working in Microsoft, and I can ask her to give you a demo on how to attend interviews. That's going to be a real-time demo. So that's one. And
So
again,
Prashanth, instead of what we can do is we can have one
yeah,
more day as a mock interview day. We can make
definitely.
breakout rooms also in this itself. So we can put it in the group like as though today there will be a mock interview because only 20 people are here, but in the group there are many. So those who would like to have that mock interview, they can attend. We can have some 2 hours or something like that, and you can give each one some time and through to breakout rooms or something like that. You can do it. That will be a
Definitely.
great. That will be a really good, great help for many.
Okay, I can do that. And aside to this, also, Dr. Lata, I have also created. I think on the last discussion we spoke, I've created a question and answer. Okay, so how are you supposed to attend interviews? There are close to 160 questions or even more on different scenarios.
Hello, Prashanth, you are muted. I don't know why.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I'll repeat myself. I just got a notification. All right, I was just saying there is a document which I've created. I will probably share it in the group, or I will share it to Dr. Lata as well. So that has got about 160 plus questions. What frequently asked questions, let's say from Amazon, from Oracle, from big, huge companies. And these are very, very tough questions. And these tough questions, what are the questions and what you have to answer, what you have to say, that is also mentioned over there. Take a look at it, practice once, twice, thrice, and feel very confident. Anyways, like when you take an interview, feel very confident that you're going to be the man of, let's say, the entire subject. You have the subject knowledge entirely, and then speak over it. So maybe 1 or 2 times we'll have, let's say, 2, 3 interviews and then mock interviews. I'm sure that everyone is going to be fully thorough with that. So the basic platform is like, I would like to just give you a reinstall certain things here. Like one is CV creation is very, very important. While you create your CV, ensure that it's not too long. It's not too big, huge, or sizable. It's pretty okay. And if you go to my profile, if you look at my CV, that's somewhere or the other where I've matched the resume where I've got about 85 score for my profile. And second thing, go to resume worded, clock 80 to 85 score, and then upload the same content in LinkedIn. And in LinkedIn, if you're going to take, let's say, the creator profile, what are the points which I have told you? Please ensure that go ahead and follow all those profile points so that you have a very, very clear. And always ensure while applying for jobs, don't apply through laptop. All right, just go to your mobile, take your mobile, and when you say jobs, when you open your LinkedIn profile, when you open for an option called jobs, you will have multiple options. Go ahead and apply, easy apply, tuck tuck tuck. Just a matter of 5 seconds, not even 5 seconds. You can just go do it as like just like messaging and close it again, open another job, apply. So in a day, 500 jobs, it will take hardly 45 minutes for you, or even let's say 1 hour. Every day apply for 500 new jobs. I'm sure within 1 week you will be loaded. You will be loaded with so many calls. Trust me, guys. I have already experienced this. You'll be loaded with so many calls. And I've been loaded with so many interviews. If you see my calendar schedule, I at least have taken more than 700 interviews at this moment with all huge companies, and with so many companies I've taken interviews. Just whether I'm joining or not, whether I need to understand what's my caliber, where am I really. Let's say if I'm, let's say, at a package of, let's say, a half a crore, I wanted to understand what's my caliber. Am I eligible for a half a crore package? Is the environment really ready to pay me that kind of salary? I just wanted to bargain and just see whether I'm capable of that particular salary. I know I'm capable of, very much capable of my industry. I know something which is very great in my industry. I've been doing laurels about for 12 years. So I wanted to test and try the patience. I want to test the soil and see how well I'm capable. So these kind of things, once you're experienced, you can start doing slow by steady. And then reaching about, let's say, a 45 to 50 package, it's not a great deal. You can definitely go ahead and do it. Just requires a small knack and a regular practice. A regular practice is very much required. Any questions?
I had a question, Prashanth. The endorsement section that you mentioned in the profile, so that is what, like, wherever you worked earlier, you get an endorsement from those employers or something? I mean,
not like that. Endorsement is something, for example, if I know Dalia, and I know your proficiency towards what you have done, so that I can endorse you. I can say that you're very well capable in your communication skills. I can write good things about you. And what makes it like, for example, might have given few skills: communication, language, literature, and certain things. I can endorse you for that particular skills.
okay.
So it can be your friends, it can be your families, it
Okay.
can be your clients, it can be your higher up managers, it can be your colleagues. Someone basically, if a leadership, for example, someone who's hired for a leadership position, they always see this endorsement. Let's say if you're hired for a VP position, they see more endorsements coming from CFO, CXO, CTOs, let's say business owners, partners, and XYZ, right? And so, and these are the people. So if you're looking for a managerial job, definitely, let's say senior manager, and you would definitely want to have more endorsement towards director, VP, and people like that. So as many as that, kind of build more relation and try to get your endorsements with your senior ups and higher ups. That's one way that it can increase.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And the thing also I wanted to tell everyone is that earlier, I'm sure that everyone knew about like visiting cards. We used to give visiting cards to say, hey, you know what, I'm so and so, take my visiting card. Now, if you're going to give your visiting card to someone, I'm sure that they're not going to look at your visiting card unless and otherwise that it's very important. Someone wants to keep it in your purse and, and or their stack and say, you know what, I'm connected. Now, connection is all about LinkedIn. LinkedIn has become a very, very premier platform. And it's not about how many connections you have. I have close to about 15,000 people who I know. But again, not everyone who I know. So for, let's say, if I'm applying for a position of, let's say, maybe a leadership role, I don't need connections of people who are working as BDMs, BDRs, somewhere who is lesser than my cadre. So I can unfollow them, or I can I can unrequest or something like that, and I can start requesting for friendships or for requests with people like HRs, HR VPs, and VPs, vice president sales, and people who are hiring for leadership positions. So look, what is your target market? What are you looking for? What kind of position are you looking for? And always it is very important. Let's say even if you're getting an offer letter in hand, right? It's always very important. Don't take hasty decisions. Always when you're going for a particular job, have 5 offer letters in your hand. 5 offer letters is very, very important, because you need to be able to choose which one you need to be able to get it. And the best part about it, what I have faced is like I love to market myself more, because at one particular point of time, I during the initial periods of my career, I got about 25 lakhs per annum as my package, and then I was very excited and I said, you know what, Mintra gave me 25 lakhs package. So now I want to go with another one. Now take another interview, and when the company asks you, do you have any offer letter? I said, yes, I do hold. I do hold a company with 25 lakhs package. So what is your expectation? They ask us. So I said, my expectation is definitely, I'm expecting for 28 lakhs package. So they say, no, it is not possible. I said, it's okay, fine. Maybe if you want me, you talk with your manager and come back to me. I will definitely wait for you. Or else there is not a problem, because I have other opportunities coming in between. I already have. So throughout that, you're not desperate about your job. Even though you're desperate about the job, throw the bait to the HR or the people who are recruiting that you're not desperate about the job. So that's one thing which will take you to higher salaries. This is one key. And always have 5 offer letters in your hand when you want to choose one, because definitely you want to go work in different companies. And always believe, again, uh, corporate, they say that there is a saying again, uh, the corporate life is like marriages. Sometimes corporate marriages are something which doesn't work. So don't mind if you join a company and it doesn't work. It's like a marriage which doesn't work for you. So get out of it. 6 months, it's okay, absolutely fine. It's a great experience. Come out of it and start looking for a different job. And if people ask you, why are you looking out for a job? Tell them the actual reason. You know what? For my experience, I think this company is really not the great fit for my career. You can be very frank enough to tell them. And why are you looking out for a job for this let's say, why are you looking from, let's say, a job in maybe Zoom Info? I can say, yeah, of course, Zoom Info is going to be a great platform, and where you can talk about your shares, you can talk about your share market, you can talk about what is your capture in NSDC and things like that, and all the stuff, and you can actually capture it and you can talk about it. So we will, in the coming days, we will take a lot of mock interviews, and I'll be able to throw some power words to you, and we will arrange some interviews with some people who are in the real world working companies, let's say Microsoft, Oracle, Google, and those kind of people, so who come and interview you so that you get an experience, right? That's very important. And come prepared. It's just not you might even get selected if someone who is really taking this interview, if they are interested, they will definitely refer you into their own company. But always ensure that you come prepared for even for a mock interview. Please come prepared. That it's going to be really helpful for you. And take the feedback. If I'm going to take it, I'm going to be very brutal in terms of feedback. And that's where it will also help you to understand on how it can be. Any questions?
Hi, Prashanth. Thank you for your time this
Pleasure.
morning.
Hi.
Okay, yeah. So you said about you have a set of questions, compiled a set of some 300 to 350 regular questions from the tier 1 companies, and it makes stressed out. So are they scenario based or subject matter based?
It has both.
Okay.
See, one question, let's say, anywhere you go, that one question which any company asks, be it the top large enterprise or even the small enterprise, small, medium, tell me about yourself.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yes.
Tell me about yourself. And the tell me about yourself has different ways of answering the question. So I have figured out a lot of tell me about yourself in different ways. And I've also given a solution for that particular tell me about yourself. So it will be very easy for you to figure out what you actually want, have to talk about it. So like, tell me about yourself. There are so many other questions, which is common pattern. It's in a common pattern, which every company follows that.
What is the average time that you suggest to answer for tell me about yourself? Because there are a lot many things and experience. Any average?
Correct. It again depends on an interview. For example, I'll tell you, if you're giving an interview with a company like Microsoft, okay? So let's compare Microsoft and let's compare any small, medium-sized business with about, let's say, who's making about, say, $5 billion to $6 billion an annum, all right?
Okay.
Let's say a company like Microsoft has an interview. Let's say if the first interview is going to be, let's say, a HR recruiter round, and after that, they will have 3 rounds, let's say the technical round, the director round, and the VP round. All 3 rounds will be in the same day consecutively. After every 45 minutes, you will have different rounds. Different people will barge into the Zoom session and will ask, or you will have interview about it. That's how Microsoft interview. That's always a smart interview process. They follow it. So in that kind of interview process, it depends on what kind of information that they're looking. For example, if the interview is scheduled for 30 minutes, in the 30 minutes, they are asking to tell you about yourself. You can always keep it very simple, not very elaborate. Keep it to only 1 minute.
Okay.
Keep it only to 1 minute, because I don't want to hear more jazz from someone. That's a point of HR, right? HR always doesn't want to hear some jazz because they either feel you're too confident or they either feel that you're underconfident. So keep it to 1 minute where it talks a lot about your past, your profile, and why you're here and why you've applied. And cut it 1 minute short. And after that, if they have any questions, they will ask you. So that's when again you speak back.
Okay. And the second other question that I have is in the latest trend, most of the HRs, they rely on automated system to retrieve the resumes and filter it out. So
Correct.
at times, since they deal with the idiot box, sometimes it makes mistakes, maybe because of my resume format, and that's why you helped us how to frame the resume. So now I'd like to know, are there any still the consultants, job consultants available so that they they to know the openings in some companies and they try to, So do we still
Yes.
have in the market now in Bangalore?
See, I tell you, job consultants are there in Bangalore, but again, I tell you, there were days when BPO days. I'm sure you might have heard about BPO days.
Yes.
But BPO days, we used to have. I used to have 7 offer letters in my hand in one same consultancy and choose whether I need to go to Aditya Birla Binax or 24/7 or Dell or some other Accenture BPO, and I had these many options with me. So consultants helped me so much in my earlier career. Nowadays, consultants are not that great. When I say most of the HR work is being not outsourced because they have to pay a huge bombshell to the consultant. And second thing is that they don't get the right kind of candidate. So what they do is that they go with LinkedIn. That's where they hire a HR recruiter who is strong, who has technical skills on LinkedIn, who knows how to operate in LinkedIn. And then they go ahead and do work on the platform called as Workable and some other technical platforms also. So to filter down candidates and they go with that. And see, don't worry again. Certain companies, they don't even know how to ask questions. For example, I came through an interview for a big MNC. The candidate had a very good communication skill. She was from US for some time, and then she came to India, and she wanted to work. And the company says that please cut down on your US accent. Only then we will hire you. It's not the right one. And the candidate again, after that interview, she got placed in Oracle right now because of only of her communication skills. So don't get dejected. But there are some people who really know how to interview, so don't get worried about it. So take as many interviews so that you understand what works or what doesn't work.
Okay, thanks.
I have a
Yes.
question, Prashanth.
Yes, doctor.
How effective is it to go to a website of a company and just submitting your resume?
Well, that is not effective at all. You spend a
Not
lot of
effective.
time. You spend a lot of time, and that is not effective at all because the time that you spend by going to a website and by submitting your resume will take about 5 minutes minimum. But the same within 5 minutes, I'm sure you can apply for about 50 jobs. If you're average calculating in easy apply in LinkedIn, if you're calculating one even 20, 30 seconds per job, you're applying for at least close to 10 to 50, at least about 50 jobs you're applying in 5 minutes. And the same amount of effort, the same resume goes to their LinkedIn profile, same resume goes to the company. Here also the resume goes to the company. But I would prefer not to actually apply through website because it is not effective. This method is not followed right now.
No. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And also don't worry again that you have a lot of experience, and most in case someone has a lot of experience and people say that you're over experienced and things like that. Nowadays, there are companies who are hiring people for a lot of great experience, and just that you need to have your CV customized accordingly for that, and then that's something that you can actually do.
Yeah,
And you
I
show a
never
lot of,
knew. That was a big insight for me that a CV has a score. Your
correct.
your talk was very, very enlightening.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, DRM, also for facilitating something like this.
Great. So does anyone have any other questions, like any clarify in the credit market or something like that? I'm sure I see a lot of people over here, like 14 participants again. Let's have it some interactive.
Actually, those who attended, if you can put it in the group, how it was useful might be for the next talk, still more people might attend. I don't know, there are around 250 people, but only 14 have attended.
Understood. So next time, I think we will make it more compiling, Dr. Lata. So I think I showed you the last time, like the responses, what we actually receive in terms of, let's say, a job request, where we post up a advertisement on the platform. So LinkedIn is very, very powerful, trust me. So I received about 14,000,
Okay.
14,000 views on my post. So I definitely think LinkedIn is very powerful. So I think we can do something around that.
Prashanth, myself, Robert here.
Yeah, hi, Robin.
Prashanth, this is something related to HR. It is related with a question like previous question about the recruiters from the website, if we can post or not a job through a website. But then I know that in a particular organization, there is an opening. And if I have to get to that website, not through the website, but through HR, from LinkedIn, how is it possible?
Okay, let me share my screen and show you how can that be done. I think that will work. Let me know when you can see my screen.
Yeah.
Yes, we can see.
Okay, let's give a random example. Let's say just give me a company's name. Let's say can we search it by, let's say, Oracle, or let's search it by, let's say, Boeing. Okay, so you see this when I see there is when I'm looking for a particular position in Boeing. Let's say I go here, and I go to first the company's page, and I go to jobs, and here in jobs I see these are the jobs list which is available, and I go across. Let's say I go across only in India. Boeing has job openings over here. And let's say if I wanted to apply for, let's say, associate product owner, and that's in Chennai, Tamil Nadu. So I have one connection who is working here. So I can go to this connection. I can ask this connection. I can say, ask Narendra. So I can just ask Narendra, you know what, I'm looking out for this particular position. Can you please refer my CV to your HR? This is one way of asking for a reference. And second thing is that when you go to the profile, when you go to Boeing company, when you go here, you see, okay, you see people, right? Yeah, you see people over here. So, for example, you see people over here, talent acquisition. So, Dheeraj Shetty is again one, and procurement agent at Boeing, recruitment specialist as Boeing. So, you can give them a connection. You can say, you know what, you can just say, hey, hey, I'd like to connect with you to know more about the job opportunities in sales domain. That's it. So then I send this now. So I send it with a specific message. And like this, you can go ahead and send connections. And again, there is one more thing that everyone needs to understand, that LinkedIn has a limitation of sending connections. Let's say you can send only 100 connections per week. And use those 100 connections very, very subtle, so that you can actually send only very selected connections. And over the period of time, maybe the next, once everyone gets a hang of LinkedIn and all this stuff, I will teach you how to automate your connections. So there is something where I can also teach you how to automate your connections. How can you automate even while you're sleeping, right? Even while you're sleeping in the night, how can you send connections to people who you want? That is called as automation. I will teach you how to do that. And I will also give you a automated flow chart where people who have accepted your connections, another message goes to them that you can already create it, and you can actually send it to them even while you're sleeping. So the platform itself will take care of everything. So that's certain things which I will teach you maybe on the next session or something. So for all those things that you need to have a proper LinkedIn profile. So the task for today, so for those who have known about what currently, so go ahead and create a LinkedIn profile. If you have any doubt, feel free to reach me out, and definitely I will help you to create a LinkedIn profile, and maybe the resume worded stuff and things like that. And go ahead and check your salary on pay scale and understand how it's going to really work. And any questions, feel free to give a call. I'm sure that we can go ahead and talk more about it.
Thank you very much, Prashanth. That was very helpful.
Most welcome, Robert.
Prashanth, one last question, like how
Yeah.
to deal with the career gap? Are we allowed to mention that in the resume, current career gap?
Yes, yes. This is something which is very important. Again, I see. I tell you what happens right in the industry currently. So a lot of people get scared of saying that I had a career gap in my career. Career gap. It's completely about your career. Understand that. So someone who wants to take a career break, it's completely your choice. And a HR or a VP of a company cannot decide why you want to take a career gap. It can be 1 year, it can be 2 years, it can be for 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, even for 5 years. That doesn't matter at all. But what happens is that you need to be very legitimate while actually telling it as a career gap. So you need to be able to justify why you had taken a career gap, right? So it can be one because of, let's say, everyone comes up with something called as health issues, but predominantly I don't think so. Everyone is so weak and sick. It might be for a different reason. It can be for a business reason. It can be for, let's say, trying for a different job opportunity, but that really didn't work. It's still okay if you had worked for 4 months, but still put that company's name. It will give that kind of credibility. You can be very, very meticulous of, let's say, telling the other guy that really things didn't work, right? And what kind of companies that you're looking for. And if you have done a business, ensure that you put that you have done business, and what kind of business. Talk more about that business. And if you had taken a career break, let's say after working for about 10 years, you need about 6 months of rest so that you can take care of your family and you want to go for a vacation and things like that. Please mention that. So companies are changing a little bit of mindset like Western. Gone are those days where people are asking, how many companies have you gone? You've been a job hopper. They're not asking anymore. Even if you have 12 different companies in a matter of 4 years, they're not going to ask you. They might ask you, but still, if you have a valid justification for that, I'm sure if you have a great skill, you're going to be a part.
Thank you, Prashanth.
You're welcome. And yeah, so I think I'm pretty much like, I'm done today for this round. So what I want everyone to do is, if you don't have a LinkedIn profile, go ahead and create one. Okay, it's always great to start, right? The starting point is very important. You need to start today. So start today, start with a LinkedIn profile, create one. And one more important thing before we end the session. So it is always very, very important to keep your inbox clean. Let's say have only one professional email ID. Let's say a personal email ID, which is also an email where you get, let's say, your communications for your jobs and for your different purposes. So have only one email ID. Maybe you can have multiple, 2 or 3, but use one email ID for your job purposes. I tell you why. What happens with this nowadays? People have started sending spams and a lot of emails, and your inbox is filled with 7,000, 8,000 emails. And there is no point keeping 7,000, 8,000 emails, which when you get an important email, you don't really know whether it's an important or something. So ensure that you keep your inbox very, very, very clean. So keep it to 0 before you sleep every day. Ensure that you keep your inbox to 0. And the next day, as soon as you wake up, ensure that you see your email. See at least how many emails have come, be it whether junk or whatever. And then during the mid of the day, again, have a look whether how many emails have come. And unsubscribe to unwanted emails. So this itself is a great task, point number one. Second thing, once you start applying for these easy apply and jobs, you will get multiple notifications from LinkedIn. For example, if you have applied for one job in LinkedIn, you will get the same job notification you will get it on LinkedIn, on your email. So don't get exhausted, but again, and also don't get worried about the rejections. As you know that a lot of platforms are automated. So also work on certain emails where people say that, you know what, I like I showed you on my personal message, they call for a 30 to 45 minutes discussion. So immediately go ahead and send it. So as quick as you are, people will like it and you can grab the opportunity. So if someone is sending you an email today and you respond back after 3 days, that opportunity is already lost. It's not a hot opportunity. It's always a dead opportunity. So opportunity is always you respond back to an email within 5 minutes. That's always hot as possible. And grab that opportunity, try to talk to the HR, get the number, try to talk to them, understand the job description, and always ask for the job description. Always ask for a job description. That is very, very important. And once you have the job description, you will know what are the responsibilities that you need to do. And according to the responsibilities, you know whether I can do this or not. Am I capable or not? Is it fit for me or not? So understand your job responsibilities and then say whether yes, no, maybe for the HR, then schedule an interview. And nowadays, interviews come with 3 rounds of discussion. One is HR discussion. Second round will be, I'd say, with an operations team or let's say a sales guy or someone who is from the department. Third will be a director, and fourth is always a vice president. Let's say for a senior position comes or a director. Interview closes with the director. And always there is a case study. So a case study is something which is very, very important for everyone to know right now. And people ask a lot about case study. Let's say they give a case study. If someone is from sales background, I'll talk your language. There is a study recently I made for a company which asked me to, they gave me a case study from raising their annual revenue from $6 million to $50 million. So $50 million, we need to be able to do that in 6 months. So there is a pattern. So that also in the coming days, I will slowly introduce that pattern to you. I will give my case studies, whichever I've done. And in case if you want any help, so that also I can help you guys to do that. So there is a format that you'll have to actually follow and be very strong while you talk to the HRs. That's very, very important. Even if you don't know things, be strong that you don't know. That's the real justification that you can actually give. Pretty much. So do we have any other questions? Does anyone have any other questions?
Hi, Prashanth. This is Aaron.
Hey, Aaron.
Quick question. I actually joined this call a little late. Is there any possibility of getting a recording of this call or meeting?
Sure,
Okay,
I think
we'll
yes.
try to put it in the group. And may I know your name?
Aaron.
So, but actually, I have been putting it in the group, this poster. I'm not sure why people are not joining. When they are so much interested, they should note down the time, date, everything. Anyhow, we'll try to post it in the YouTube and you can check it out. So
Okay.
because people are not joining, I'm not going to post in YouTube because they think that YouTube is there and no one is joining. But this time I'll do it. Thank you.
Thank you. I look forward to that. Thank you.
Thanks, Aaron. All right, so thank you so much. I think I'm totally done today. And with this day, with this task, with the session, I'd like to give one task for everyone. Please go ahead after the session. Point number one, forget about your CVs, forget about LinkedIn. I want each and everyone to go ahead and clear your inbox, right? Take this task one to clear your inbox, make it 0. And before tonight, practice that habit of seeing the email before you sleep and as soon as you wake up and in between the day. So these are the 3 intervals that you should be actually seeing your emails. And once you are good with that, also please ensure that you go ahead and create a CV for yourself. And what the platforms, what I told you, try to put into it, try to increase the score, and then increase, maybe come over to LinkedIn, create a profile in LinkedIn, and take some samples. You can view my profile, you can view others' profile, create some samples, and put in a common view, and then start applying for jobs. So maybe in the next week when we meet, let's go at the step of a progress and have a little more interaction and take it up further. And thank you so much, Dr. Lata and Dalia and everyone again for organizing this and for me being a speaker here today to give my insights and to my experience for everyone. So over to you, Dalia.
Thank you, Prashanth. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Prashanth. It was really enriching, and you made it sound like LinkedIn is a nice place to be. So we had this fear. At least I had this fear of LinkedIn. Open LinkedIn and it's all. But thank you so much, and I think it should help a lot of us.
Definitely, my pleasure.
Looking forward to more talks from you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, Prashanth.
Thank you.
When is your next talk? You can announce that.
All right, the next talk, I thought I'll make it a little more interesting. I thought I'll bring few folks from the industry. I thought I'll bring few folks from the companies, and I'll give you the agenda on what I thought I'll do it, and also some activity-based
Okay,
scenarios.
sure.
Yeah, so we can do something about that. So I'll keep you posted again. I'll give you my agenda on the next talk. And
Okay, thank you.
regarding the material, I'll share it to you. Probably you can share it to the team and.
Hi. I am okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night. Bye-bye.